Hey, what's up, world, and welcome to the 27th edition of the Take One podcast. And this one, just like any other one, I've been trying to keep these short, so I have a lot to talk about, even though it's only like about 3 things I want to talk about today. But I know I'm gonna talk a lot with these, but I'm gonna try and keep it short, 30 minutes, 45, whatever. I got a bit of movie news, stuff that came out last week or whatever. I'm just now getting to it, whatever. And then some wrestling stuff that occurred over the weekend, because we had that Elimination Chamber match with WWE, and I put out my predictions this past weekend before the Elimination Chamber came out, and so I'm going to give my results, and that is going to be at the end, on the second half of this podcast, which is going to be the Wrestling Corner. But first, let me start off with movie notes. And so basically, one of the things I wanted to talk about first was, and it's a big piece of, I ain't gonna say piece of news, but it's a big piece in the movie world. If you are a fan of comic book movies or whatever, especially Marvel, you would appreciate this video. There is a promotional video for Avengers Infinity War, which is set to come out in, I believe, May of next year. So we got a little bit over a year to go for this, but they put out a promo because right now they're currently in production. I believe that they just recently started, and this video was freaking amazing. I mean, it didn't show too much because they don't have too much, to show. But just talking about it, it's basically just the feel of the video, from just the background theatrical type music that they got playing, just to set off the emotion. And just, you got Kevin Feige on there, and he's talking about the cinematic universe in a whole, from the beginning to the end. Then you got like a little part where you got Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, and Chris Pratt, which is Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Star-Lord all together. And that, when that first came on, my first thoughts was like, these are the people that we need to see together. Throw Ant-Man up in there, and I think we got a winner. Because that interaction could probably be funny as hell. Well, it will be funny as hell if they have a good interaction with this. But yeah, just the start of it. That's just basically at the start of the beginning of the video, and from there, he talks about it, Kevin Feige, just basically how it started from Iron Man and how they had this kind of device plan. And it changed throughout the time. At first they didn't know how Iron Man was going to be because he wasn't a well-known character when it came to, as far as as far as Marvel Comics. Of course, yeah, he's well known, but to just the general public, he's not as well known as, like, a Spider-Man or X-Men or Superman or something like that. So, so he was just saying that basically it goes from there, and then they go on, and, every movie was just a device playing through there. So, they changed out every now and then, but just how he talks about it and how it goes from just, I don't know, it's just, if you were there to experience it from the beginning and you went to go see the first Iron Man movie, which I did. I didn't see every single Marvel movie in theaters. Some of them I say maybe one of them I missed, which was Iron Man 2, and that one I don't regret missing at all. The only way that I regret missing is because it was, basically for me to say that I've seen every single MCU movie in theaters. But beside the fact, yeah, like, it shows a little bit of the concept art of Thanos, and you really see Josh Brolin out in, looking, basically a Thanos looking, or Josh Brolin Thanos looking. I'm over here tripping over my words, but yeah, of Josh Brolin Thanos looking, and concept art of Thanos or whatever. And it's just the way things look. They showed a little bit of the set, and it got me more pumped to see Infinity War. It really did. But the only thing is, like, I talked about this in my last podcast, how Thanos is said to be the main character in this, that they're going to focus really heavy on Thanos. And it was even said before that Thanos is going to be a major villain. I mean, he is a major villain, but he's not going to be a throwaway villain where, they fight him and then that's it, like all the other villains except for like Loki or whatever. But he's going to be a big part of it, which he should. But yeah, that's the only thing that got me worried about is that, yeah, how they're going to balance this, because at first we thought that this was going to be two movies split in, well, it's going to be one movie split into two, or one story split into two movies. But now we found out that it's not going to be that. That's not the case, that it's going to be just one movie dealing with Thanos, and that's the first Avengers movie, which is called Infinity War, and the other one is Avengers, it's basically has an untitled Avengers movie. And so it just got me wondering, like, how are they going to fit everything in this? Because this isn't like the first Avengers movie, which they nailed. Joss Whedon nailed it, putting all these characters together and gave them a good amount of screen time. And then with Age of Ultron, adding more, even though, every now and then, you can see like, okay, yeah, there, certain people didn't get that much screen time, but no matter how you felt about it, he still did it again, and then with Civil War, it trumped that. And I know a lot of people ain't gonna like that phrase, but the Russo brothers basically overdid that, putting what was it, like about 16 to 20 main superheroes in that movie. So, and they gave each person a good amount of time. So at the end of the movie, it wasn't like, oh, this person didn't get that much time. And they did it to where it's like, even if they didn't get enough time, you still had a good amount of time with said character. So this one is dealing with all of the characters. So it got me kind of thinking, like, how are they going to do this? And I hope they do. But just to get back to the video, because I know I strayed away from it. But yeah, that's just my only concern about it. But overall, the promotional video that they had, it was crazy. And then one thing that kind of really got to me, they kind of inspired me in a sense, and it probably inspired a lot of other people who saw this promotional video, who's really excited about this, is that Tom Holland made a comment or a statement or whatever in the video saying that he remembered seeing, the first Avengers with one of his friends, and he would never imagine that he would be in an Avengers movie, let alone playing Spider-Man. That has got to be one of the biggest highs that you can be on. Because, like, just imagine for a moment. Whatever it is you want to do. Whether it's music, movies, being a doctor, or whatever. Right now, you're not doing what you want to do. You're not doing it. You may be on the path to doing it or whatever. Or not even on the path. You may want to start the path. And just think about it. Let's just put it in as like movies, just like to Tom Holland. But, just think of whatever it is that you want to do. Now, just think about it. What you're doing right now. You're not doing anything or, whatever. But say 5 years from now, you're at the peak. Or not even just the peak, but you are doing what you want to do. For me, one of the things I want to do, I would say, writing movies. I haven't wrote a screenplay yet, but I'm going to, or whatever. But let's just use my example, just me for an example. I want to write a screenplay. Let's say I end up writing a screenplay. And let's say 5 years from now, my movie is in theaters. And let's say, and just picture that for yourself, something that you want to do, you imagine yourself doing it, or, you just saying that you want to do that, and 5 years from now, or maybe 6 or whatever, you're doing it. And not only are you doing it, is that you're very successful in doing it. And you gain respect and, just success. You know what I mean? You don't even got to be popular or anything, but just you're doing what you love and you enjoy it and it gives you satisfaction. Just imagine that. That has got to be one of the biggest highs that you can get on. And to me, that really inspired me. Just that statement alone inspired me. And I hope it inspired a lot of you guys, because that just shows you that you can do anything. Because this is a guy who never thought that he would be in an Avengers movie. Never thought. Of course, he would want to be, but he never thought he would. And he is in an Avengers movie. And not only that, but he's playing Spider-Man, and a beloved character. And not only is he playing a beloved character, but people love him in it. Not only as Peter Parker, but as Spider-Man. He is the best of both worlds between Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. That people love his Spider-Man more than that. You know, that's got to be crazy, but... overall, if you haven't checked out the promotional video, go ahead, check it out. It's on YouTube. Just type in, I guess, Avengers Infinity War promotional video or whatever. But yeah, it's a good watch. So go ahead and check that out. And so, just to kill time, because I talked a lot about that, let's move on to the next thing in movie notes, which is... one thing I wanted to talk about on the other podcast, which I kind of did, but I had to edit it out. So if you heard some cuts in the last, podcast that I did, which is episode 26, that's the reason why. I believe what was it? I think it was episode 25 or 26. Yeah, you know what? It was episode 26, I believe. Yeah, because I had to edit it out. So if you hear some cuts in there, that was part of the reason. Because I talked about it for a little bit, and then more stuff came out before I even uploaded it. So it was like, do I keep it? And, even though this new news came out, or do I edit it? So I just decided to edit it, and I want to talk about it now. And what I'm talking about is the Ben Affleck debacle thing that's happening with him, DC, Warner Brothers, or whatever. Now, see, the thing is that I listen to podcasts, I read up on this, and it's so crazy of what we all are going through when it comes to trying to like Marvel and DC at the same time. Now, I've said it in podcasts before, and I will say it again, that I'm a fan of good films. I'm a fan. I don't want to go to a movie and have a terrible experience. I don't want to do that. I want to go into a movie expecting to be satisfied, expecting to enjoy it, to be entertained. I don't expect to leave the theater like, damn, I could have waited. I could have saved my money, rented it for less. And I just don't want that. But yeah, it just seems like, man, with DC, I don't know what's going on with them. It could be something with just Warner Brothers itself, or just the actors, or I don't know what it is. But, okay, so getting into Ben Affleck. So once BVS happened, we all know what happened with that, whatever. One of the best things about BVS was Batman. And I know even if people didn't love Ben Affleck as Batman, you can say that he was one of the best things about it. So no doubt about that. And oh my gosh, yeah. So after that, Ben Affleck, he said that he was going to write, direct, and star in the new Batman movie, the upcoming Batman movie, which is given an untitled slate or whatever for release or whatnot. And I believe he's producing as well. So we went along with this. Everybody excited, like Ben Affleck, he's been good at directing and all this stuff. And he doesn't pull out a great performance every single time, but anytime he's in a movie that he's direct, he's done a good job in it and all that stuff as far as the acting and all that. And he did a good job with that. So he's like, okay, man, it's in good hands. DC, this is one thing that they're going to get right. But then shortly after, we hear that it's kind of in trouble, that he's not going to direct the Batman movie after certain things, and it's just back and forth. So the end result is that he's not directing it. After saying that, yeah, it's a little trouble, but then no, it ain't. but then everything's back on track. Oh, now I'm not. And his reason for it is, he wanted to give more, more time to perfecting the Batman, perfecting his craft, and bringing Bruce Wayne and Batman to life on the big screen better than it has been portrayed before. Which I get that, but at the same time, with everything leading up to him leaving as director, it kind of like seems funny. So I don't think that that's the whole story. I think that's the political correct. I guess I don't know if I'm using it in the right sense or whatever, or in the correct way, but I guess that's the more political answer to that, which I think is only a small portion, but I think it's more that goes on behind that. And then later on, we hear that he is no longer they're not going to use the script. He wrote the script, and we was like, oh, we're going to get Deathstroke, and we're going to get Arkham Asylum, we're going to get all this stuff, but yet his script is not being used. We heard that Chris Terrio was coming on board doing some rewrites, and now they're redoing the whole thing. They're scrapping basically what he had, and they're starting from scratch. So not only is he not directing it, but he's not writing it either. So it's like, what really is going on? So he's still on producing, I believe that he's still a producer, and he's going to be on there, of course, as Batman. But yet, if you've heard or if you watch Collider movie talk, then you've heard John Campea say that he has sources saying that Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore. And this hasn't been confirmed. This hasn't been like, he's came out and said it and blah 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 and whatever. But basically his sources say that Ben Affleck doesn't want to be Batman anymore. And if he can't get out of his contract right now, the Batman movie, whenever it comes out, is going to be the last time you see him as Batman. And that, to me, just shows that DC doesn't have their shit together. They really don't. And it's so crazy because everyone was excited for it. Hell, I was excited for it. But once everything started coming down that, they're having basically just indirectly saying that they're having problems from this movie ain't gonna come out if the script isn't right. Oh, the script is right, everything is cool. Oh, I'm not directing it. Oh, my script got thrown out. All this stuff is just one by one, and it's so crazy because I know DC fans have got to be either in utter denial or they got to be just pissed because when you look at DC films, it's like, oh, this director dropped out. This person dropped out of writing. Oh, this person did it. And you go through it and you just get all these negative things coming out of Warner Brothers and DC. But when it comes to Marvel, you get a whole bunch of good stuff. These A-list, actors have came on board of this movie. This movie is good. Like, we wrote this. We're going to bring out this movie. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And everything, and everything is on board when it comes to Marvel. But DC just can't get things together. They really cannot. And it's just so sad because, like I said, I am a fan of movies. And I would love to see them get things right. But right now, it just seems like they're just falling off this track that is, it's just this DC train that just, I don't know, I guess you could call them Amtrak. That's basically what it is. And, yeah, it's really disturbing, but hopefully they get things right. Hopefully Wonder Woman is good enough to where it's like, okay, things is going well, and then hopefully Justice League carry on whatever they're trying to do, and then from then on they can just, it's like smooth sailing. But for right now, I don't know. I think it's more going on than what they want to let on, because it basically, like I said, indirectly it shows. And yeah, it is what it is. But that ends movie notes. And so I am going to go into the wrestling corner now. For those who don't watch wrestling or don't like it or whatever, you can probably tune out now. For everyone else, let's talk about the results of the WWE Elimination Chamber, which is the SmackDown pay-per-view. SmackDown pay-per-view. Okay, but I'm just gonna go here and there. I'm not gonna go full on, recap or whatever. I'm just gonna go and hit certain parts and talk about things real quick, and I'm gonna hit certain parts on Raw and SmackDown. Like I said, I'm just going off the cuff. I'm not really. I don't have like a lot of it. I don't have anything written down, so I'm just about to go off of memory. But just talk about stuff, wrestling related. Okay, so yeah, getting into that, I can say. As far as the predictions, I was wrong on a few of them. And yeah, so just to go back into the matches. So Naomi versus Alexa Bliss. I really thought that they were going to give it. I really thought that they were going to keep it on Alexa Bliss, because I had mentioned in my last podcast that I've heard the whole thing of them giving it to Naomi because it's Black History Month, and you already heard my little mini rant on that. But I mean, I guess you could say I'm kind of glad that they gave it to Naomi because she really deserves it. Not to sound corny, like audience, whenever anybody wins the championship, you deserve it. You deserve it, and all that stuff. But I mean, I think she really deserved it because she's been in the company for so long, and she's been changed up, and she gets the crowd behind her. But in typical WWE fashion, when the fans get behind somebody, they don't want to act on it real quick. They act on it when the fans calm down. Then they want to give them that. But she kind of like reinvented herself, I guess you could say, or reinvented her image. And the fans are behind it. And so I guess you could say this is as good a time of any. I just think that they probably should have done it at WrestleMania and kept it on Alexa Bliss, and just kept this feud going. But I mean, I'm okay with it. And that was one of the matches I got wrong, because I thought they were going to keep it on Alexa Bliss. And so the other one was Apollo Crews and Kalisto versus Dolph Ziggler. I thought Dolph was going to take this. I really did. And like I said before, it's kind of backwards. This is the type of match that you do with two heels and a baby face. It just didn't seem right. It just seemed backwards. And then with Dolph Ziggler losing, it really made Dolph Ziggler look. Not even gonna say Dolph Ziggler look bad. It made Kalisto and especially Apollo Crews look bad, because it showed that they can't beat Dolph Ziggler alone, that they have to team up together, and it's just I don't know. They just booked this match wrong. I think that they should have had Dolph Ziggler win. That would have had a more impact, that would have had a better impact or whatever, and it would have looked better, and that would have been better for the storyline purpose. But just they messed up on that. But yeah, so Apollo Crews and Kalisto took it. I mean, one thing that I can admit that I did like the way they ended the match, where Kalisto did a move and then Apollo Crews capitalized on that and pinned Dolph Ziggler. So I can say I got down with that. But yeah, and I'm just about to rush through these because I still have a few more stuff to talk about, and then it's like I was on and off watching the WWE, watching this pay-per-view event. I didn't really get the chance to watch all the matches in its entirety. I just, watched some of it in and out because I was doing other things, and then, I saw who won and blah, blah. And one of the matches that I didn't have down, which I didn't care for or to even look up, is like I don't really care for the pre-show unless it's a match that's on there that has a big star that's in the kickoff. It's like whatever, but it was a match with what's his name, the Hawkins, and Mojo Rawley. I really don't even know who won. I don't care. Anyway, so moving on, you got Becky Lynch versus Mickie James. Becky Lynch won. I was surprised. I thought that they were gonna give it to Mickey James, but I guess like I even set it up in my predictions that it could go either way, and yeah, that was one of the other matches I got wrong. But I mean, I guess I'm okay with it or whatever. I just think they really should have gave it to Mickey just to throw more fuel to the fire because she needs the fans against her if she's gonna be doing a heel. But yeah, and then you got the Nikki Bella versus Natalia. Uh, yeah, it was a double countout. I don't think a lot of people got that. With any predictions, I don't think a lot of people got that. I think that ended the way it should have ended because it's going to keep the rivalry going. And with the rumor of them saying that it's going to be John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice for WrestleMania, I wonder how much longer is this feud going to go on. Are they going to have 1 or 2 more matches or whatever, or 3 matches? Or how is it? I don't know how it's going to be, but they're going to have to end it soon if that rumor comes out to be true because it seems like certain rumors are coming out, like the one for the WWE Championship. But before I get to that, like I said, American Alpha was gonna win the match, and I didn't say it up in the other podcast, but it was a tag team turmoil, and it's like they didn't boost up any other tag teams, and yeah, American Alpha. So I mean, they retained. That was a no-brainer. And so Orton versus Harper, I mean, it was a no-brainer again. Like, Orton was going to win. That was just, yeah. If they would have had Harper win, then, yeah, that would have been a curveball. But Orton had to win. He had to win. You can't have him win. I mean, you can't have him lose 2 times in a row. 2 times in 1 week. So he had to win. Especially with him going to WrestleMania. You need that momentum. He can't lose again. Especially to a person like Luke Harper. I mean, nothing against Luke Harper. If you lose against the WWE Champion at the time, John Cena, then yeah, I can see that. But you lose to someone like Luke Harper and you have a ticket to WrestleMania in the main event, So yeah, Orton, I already knew he was going to win. That was a no-brainer. And then Elimination Chamber, I said that John Cena was going to retain. That's what it was looking at. Like, I didn't really think that they were going to put the belt on Bray because they hadn't hyped him up, really. I mean, he has been in a major storyline within the past few weeks, but I didn't think that they were going to do that. Like, I didn't think that they were going to give Randy Orton the Royal Rumble win, but that rumor came true. So it got me starting to believe all the other rumors, like, like I said before, the John Cena and Nikki Bella versus Miz and Maurice. And then we got on the next pay-per-view event, the Raw pay-per-view, Fastlane, with Goldberg versus Kevin Owens. And it got me believing in that Goldberg is going to win. And he's going to take the belt to Mania and drop it to Lesnar. And that for WrestleMania is going to be Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho. Since getting into Raw, Chris Jericho got his ass beat by Kevin Owens, which was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of weird because they've been hinting towards them trying to do that for like months now, and then just out the blue they did it. But once it happened, I'm like, why? It's like, But then I thought about it earlier in the night. You got Triple H came up to Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, and he took Kevin Owens to talk to him. And then later on, the Festival of Friendship happened. And then that happened. So more than likely, it's something that Triple H said to Kevin Owens that did it. Because if you look at Kevin Owens, and when he was beating up Chris Jericho, it seemed like he didn't want to do it, but yet he was doing it. Just in storyline purposes. I don't want people to think that, I really believe this shit is real. Because it's not. But in storyline purposes, just him selling it, or I could have just been overlooking it, or not overlooking it, but looking too much into it. But it looks like he was conflicted. Like he didn't want to do it, but he had to do it. So I will expect something like that to be played into the storyline with him with Triple H saying something to him or whatever. But I'm just thinking, what if Triple H is trying to build up a faction? What if he is trying to bring, I guess you could say, a form of the Bullet Club? Or, I don't know. I'm just throwing in there, like, when Finn Balor come back, maybe he gets under Triple H's helm, his wing, and then it's like Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Kevin Owens all together. I mean, not just far-fetched. I mean, because you still get what's his name, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and then you got AJ Styles still there. So you ain't trying to have a big ass faction. But what if he is trying to build something with Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, because they're both Triple H guys? So what if he brings another person in, and then them three are going whatever, just tearing shit apart, because they are all on Raw. So I don't know. It's just my thought, but I thought that the way that they did it, I liked it, because it was kind of like, you really didn't see it coming. You really didn't. Because Kevin Owens always kind of reacts the same way whenever Chris Jericho does something stupid and outlandish. So you really didn't expect it. And then it was like they hint to it before, but then didn't do anything with it. So it was like, when we saw this, okay, yeah, he brought him a list. But then once he said, "Why is my name on it?" It's like, what? And then you saw the back of it that said the list of KO. I'm like, oh shit. Like, literally my mouth dropped, because like, oh, they surprised us. So I mean, I guess that was good. That was good. And then another thing about Raw, like I said, I'm going off of memory, but yeah, Bayley won the WWE the WWE Raw Women's Championship, which I had no problem with. I really don't. I don't know what's going to happen with Mania. More than likely, I think that they have a rematch at Fastlane. More than likely, they're going to. I don't know if Bayley is going to retain there. Maybe they're going to have her drop the title at Fastlane and then regain it back at WrestleMania. But I did like the way it was won. I did like it. How, I mean, and the thing is, it's like, you kind of knew that Bayley was going to win, because once I saw the promo before it, how Sasha came up to Charlotte, and Charlotte was just talking trash to her and just basically just talking about, like, just downing her, and then walked away, and Sasha just didn't say anything. I knew at that point that Bayley was going to win, because of just the way it all went down. She was cocky, she's overconfident, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And she walked away from Sasha, and Sasha just looking down like she just can't say anything, that she was going to get her comeuppance. And so when it happened, I mean, of course, like, Dana, I don't even, like, yeah, when it got to the end of the match, and Dana Brooke came out and messed with Bayley, and after almost caused her to lose, I didn't get that, because for months, Dana Brooke wasn't really underneath Charlotte's wing. So it was like, why did she come out? And I understand that they didn't have a fallout or anything else, but she wasn't with Charlotte for a lot of the time. It was just Charlotte by herself, every single match within the past few months. And now it's like she comes out to help her. Like, that didn't make any sense. That really didn't. So it was just like, but I thought at that moment, yeah, Charlotte's gonna retain, whatever. But then I'm just thinking, like, they holding off on Dana Brooke, so I'm like, the camera is like on Dana Brooke for a minute. I'm like, something's about to happen. Sasha's gonna come out, and sure enough, Sasha came out, hit her with the crutch, and then basically hit Charlotte with the crutch as well, causing her to lose against Bayley. What Bayley did, the Bayley to belly, or the belly to Bayley, or whatever, and she wins the title. And it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was cool. It was cool. And so moving to SmackDown, which I did just get done watching it, and I'm late, life. And so I'm gonna just talk about a few things on that. One of the things I'm gonna talk about is just the triple threat match. Triple threat for the WWE Championship with Bray Wyatt, John Cena, and AJ Styles. And one of the things that I didn't like, I ain't gonna say I didn't like, but it didn't make sense when John Cena came out and he was like, people saying that you deserve it and all that stuff, But around here, it's more like, you have to earn it, and it's just like, he did earn it. I guess in the sense, like, I guess he needed to elaborate on it more, saying that, win it in a one-on-one competition rather just an elimination chamber. Maybe if he said something like that, but just to say that he didn't earn it, like, yeah, he did. He might not have been given, opportunity after opportunity like you, but yeah, he did earn it. I mean, even whether it's in basically just going by storyline. Some of it, real life, but, just in storyline, yeah. If you look at everything that he's did, yeah, the motherfucker earned it. He earned it. He deserved it. I was happy when he won because I've been wanting Bray Wyatt to win. I believe I said it in a podcast before. They missed their ship on it. I believe that they should have gave him that when he had the entire Wyatt family with Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. That's when they should have gave it in, because like I said before, he should have came out, beat up somebody at on the main event, and declared that was like going to be a Wyatt era, where they just going to, if they not given an opportunity or whatever, that they're going to take it. And then from there knowing, they should have took out all the titles. They should have took the tag team titles, the Intercontinental, and this is before the brand split. So I'm like, they should have took the tag team titles, the Intercontinental or the U.S. title, and then Bray Wyatt should have gone after the WWE Championship, and had it going on for months where every time he's in the championship match, the Wyatt family interferes and causing him to win or disqualification, or just basically just causing him to retain his title. I think that they missed their ship. That's what they should have did. But then the brand split, and then they broke them up, and it was just, they broke them up for like the 15th time, and then that was whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever. But the triple threat match was decent. I liked it. I actually watched the match. I mean, it was good. I liked it. You already knew that Bray Wyatt wasn't going to drop the title. That's the thing. You already knew that he wasn't going to drop it. But the only thing that kind of threw me off, and I believe everybody else, is that you already know Randy Orton is going to turn on Bray Wyatt. You already know. He's just setting his cards. He's just setting the dominoes up just so he can knock him down. In the storyline, whatever. Story mode. We ain't playing the game. But storyline, yeah. And it's like, I like how they playing this out. Because when he eventually does it, it's going to be epic. But the only thing is that everybody is behind Bray Wyatt. And I put it on Twitter when I'm seeing this, is that WWE don't know what they're doing. Because if you look at it, a lot of their heels are getting cheers. And a lot of their faces are getting boos. Bray Wyatt came out. He's getting cheers. You deserve it. And he got the whole world. You hear everybody doing that for Bray Wyatt, just cheering him. But then, and he's a heel. Put it in your head. He's a heel. John Cena comes out. You hear boo, boo, and John Cena sucks. And you hear all this stuff. And it goes with AJ Styles. AJ Styles came out. And all you hear is cheers. And he is a heel. Same with Kevin Owens. You may hear not as many cheers as like AJ Styles or Bray Wyatt now, but he still gets cheers. Even Chris Jericho. I mean, until now, he was a heel. He gets cheers whenever he comes out. So it's just WWE. They just got things backwards. Certain people, they just need to turn either face or heel, depending on their crowd reaction, or just do a better job. A person if they can't get a person over as a heel or a babyface, put them up against somebody who is a better heel. Basically, if you have a babyface who is not getting the reception, put them up against a heel that everyone just hates, and you will get everybody on that babyface side. They're not gonna work all the time, but it has worked in the past. And it's the same with the heels. If a person can't get over his heel, if you can't get the boos, the crowd to hate the heel, put them up against a babyface that everybody likes, and have the heel just beat down that babyface, talk trash, Then you're gonna get people to turn on that heel. But I don't know. WWE just got things twisted. In any case, other than that, yeah, those are the real big points that I wanted to touch on. Nothing else as far as WWE. Yeah, I think that's really about it. Okay, so that ends this episode of the Take One Podcast, episode 27. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on your notifications. That way you'll get notified for anything that drops on my channel. Any video from podcasts, movie reviews, show reviews, or whatever I do. And yeah, everything else that's as far as my social media is down there in the link in the description below, as well as links to the other podcasts that I've done, as well as other movie reviews and all that good stuff is down there in the link in the description below. So go ahead and check that out. Until next time, I will catch you guys later. Peace out.